Yes, indeed, guys. Welcome back to the channel. It's Jay Jordan here, and I know it's been a while since I've been on the channel. Last time I put something out was the post congratulating the Aces. I took a couple pictures at Game 4 of the WNBA Finals, and between being away and work, I didn't have a lot of time to cover what I witnessed there and the exit interviews that took place after. So in this video, I'm going to tackle game 4 of the WNBA Finals, in which the Aces won, and what was said in the interviews and things afterwards. If you like this type of content and you want me to continue making more of it, leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel. I will have things over the off season as news comes out. I'm also going to do a season recap month by month of the Liberty's journey throughout the highs and lows of this season. So make sure you're subscribed to the channel so you get all of that content. All right, so at the time of recording this video, it's been about a week and change after the finals. I've had time to collect my thoughts, to get over the disappointment in losing the WNBA finals, and now I'm back. So if you didn't know, the Liberty lost game 4 of the WNBA finals. Final score is 70-69. Heartbreaking way to lose. The Aces were down 2 starters, 3 if you want to count Candace Parker, but they were down Chelsea Gray and Kia Stokes in game 4. You would think the Liberty playing at home, the Aces down 2 starters, the Liberty should be able to force it to a game 5 in Las Vegas. And as the game went on, you knew that it wouldn't be easy. The Liberty should have been stomping them out from early. And unfortunately, they did not take care of business. The Aces were hanging around, and in the third quarter is when they pounced on the Liberty and outscored them 23-12 in the third quarter, and they didn't relinquish the lead after that. That loss in the finals brings the Liberty's finals record to 0-5. They've been to the finals 5 times and lost all 5 games. Throughout the 5 games the 5 series they've been in the finals, they've only won 2 games total, which was game 3 of this series and game 2 back in, I think it was 99, against the Houston Comets. So they have not had much success in the finals as a franchise. Just as a summary, the team didn't show up. Our MVP, Stewie, I don't know what was going on. The whole playoff run, she hadn't been to her usual self that she was in the regular season, in which she won MVP. Struggled mightily in this game. I think she only was like 4 for 19 or something crazy like that. They put the ball in her hands to end the game, even though she was struggling all game. The ball found its way to Sloot, and Sloot shot an air ball. I'll post the video. I'll probably put the video somewhere on the screen. I was recording it, and then at the end you could see, once I seen the ball hit the air ball, I literally just fell to my seat because I couldn't believe that's how it ended. So the Aces celebrated their back-to-back championship on our home floor. They were talking about how Sabrina did the night-night celebration. Well, specifically Sydney Colson. So they took offense to that. It was really sweet for them. They really played into the us against the world narrative that they've been portraying all season, with the whole De'Erica Hamby situation, and everybody talking about the Liberty, that they felt slighted, and of course Asia not winning MVP, her getting that 1/4 place vote. So a combination of all those things, they took that, put the chip on their shoulder, and they accomplished something that had not been seen since the early 2000s. So of course, with a loss like that, the Liberty, some of the players didn't want to talk to the media or decline media interviews. It was not Sabrina. It was Breanna Stewart, Courtney Vandersloot, and Coach Brondello at the table after the game to do the interview. But according to the WNBA media rules, players that are requested um, must talk to the media, not specifically at the table, but They could be on the side. It could just be a verbal thing outside of the press conference area. So Sabrina Benija and John Quell didn't talk, so they were all fined. I think it was $5,000 or $6,000, and the team itself was fined around $25,000. Um, I know after a big loss like that, disappointing. You don't really want to talk, but the media rules are there for a reason, and they had to pay the piper. I know they probably were thinking about that, but I guess they didn't care that those were the repercussions. Well, after this game and after all that to do about nothing, of course, the Liberty had to have their exit interviews. That's what most teams do after the season. They have the press come and the press asks their questions about the season as a whole, off-season plans, things of that nature. So they Liberty had their exit interviews, I think, a day or two later, in which everybody from the GM, Jonathan Kolb, coach, all the players were able to sit there and answer questions that the media had for them. So we're just gonna run over some of the things that took place there. The main thing that one reporter was asking throughout everybody's interviews, from the GM all the way down to the players, was that Kelsey Plum, in an interview, I think it was after Game 4 when they won, she was talking to somebody from Yahoo Sports, and basically, she was asking her how did they step up to take over this game or close this game out. Um, and I'm pulling it up here so that I could actually read it. But it was Kelsey Plum. What's her name? Her name is Cassandra Negley of Yahoo Sports. I guess Kelsey Plum was talking to her. Quote, we also knew that as much as they're a team, they're not a team, if that makes sense. They're really good individual players, but they don't care about each other. And you can tell in those moments they revert back to individual basketball. So we knew we had to just keep chipping away, keep getting stops, keep getting rebounds, space the floor, and people made good plays. But we were a team, and that's been all year. End quote. So that part where she said, as much as they're a team, they're not a team, if that makes sense. They're really good individual players, but they don't care about each other. Um, made its way around the media circuit and was asked to all these players. Um, so everybody had differing remarks for it. Jonathan Kolb, he I guess he tried to understand what she was saying. Um, but that part about them not caring about each other really really, I guess, hurt him a little bit. Same for JJ. JJ said it was classless, basically what she said. People like to step on people when they're down, and she didn't think it was necessary. Others sort of just brushed it off and talked about how close they got as a team together as the season went on. So and Kelsey Plum ended up trying to walk it back, saying that's not what she meant, and she was basically talking about how they're since the Aces have been through the fire already, they're closer than what our team is. So take it as you wish. I can understand why when you say they don't care about each other, that would take a lot of the Liberty players off and the organization as a whole, because nobody knows what's going on in the locker room besides them. So it was a little testy there. Um, People say the winners should be able to say whatever they want. People say you should win with class. Um, I can see both sides, honestly. But into more specifics about what was said during the exit interviews, I'll start off with Jonathan Cole. He basically said flat out that Breanna Stewart will be cored. Basically, she will be locked down. She won't be able to enter free agency. So she's going to be a part of the roster. And in regards to JJ, he said he's going to give her some time to. He had to talk to her actually after the press conference that they were having, because I guess they had a one-on-one with the players have one-on-one with the GM. So he was going to talk to her, give her some time, and then definitely try and bring her back to run it back next season. So we'll see what happens there. He also mentioned that he wanted to add more defense on the guard position. In the finals, if you watched any of the games, they were really picking on Vandersloot and Sabrina. Both are not the best defenders 1-on-1. So Jackie Young, Kelsey Plum, Chelsea Gray, they were all attacking them, and from the penetration, the Aces were getting whatever they wanted. So he said he would be looking to shore up the bench and the defense from on the bench from the guard position. So we'll see who's out there that he can acquire. Um, in regards to JJ, we spoke about how she said the comments were classless from Plum, but she also said she wanted to talk to Jonathan Kolb about her future. She did plan to go overseas to play. I think a lot of players, they're not going to Russia, they're going to China and to Australia. I think those are the teams or the countries that line up with the WNBA schedule. They can go over there and still come back in time to avoid any of the prioritization rules. JJ also spoke about how it was a missed opportunity for them. They should have had the upper hand with the missing starters, and they failed to capitalize in that game. This is the third time Jonquel has lost in the finals. I think she's lost two to the Aces, so this one especially stings for her. Um, so I could imagine the pain. She came here to try and overcome that goal and still got back to the same place and faltered. In regards to Stewie, she said this is her first time in her life that she's really lost a championship game, all through college. I guess her younger years as well, and even in Seattle, anytime they've made it to the finals as a team, they've won. So her coming here, not playing her best, and them losing on their home floor, the first time she's lost. So that's a different feeling for her, and she knows what it feels like now, and never wants to feel that again. She said she hasn't committed to playing in China for the off season. As we all know, her wife was pregnant, and as of recording of this video, they had the baby, baby Theo. So congrats to Brianna Stewart and her wife, on their second child together. But I guess she said she wants to get the family situated before she makes any decisions about playing or not. In my personal opinion, I mean, I think being in the New York market has gotten her a lot more exposure than she previously had. So I think that she should rest this off season, especially with the longer season. It went to 40 games this year, so she had to play extra games. It looked like she sort of wore down towards the end of the season, and in the playoffs. Looked like she didn't have the same lift with her legs. I think she maybe had probably two or three good overall games out of the. I think we played about 8 games. Yeah, I think we played about 8 games, 8 or 9 games this postseason, and throughout it, she probably maybe had two or three um, MVP type games. So hopefully, if in my opinion, I think she should rest, get her legs back together, situate the family, and then come back next season fresh and ready to go. Also, there's Olympics next in the middle of next season, so that's also a thing that she has to account for as well. She did speak about wanting to become a better leader in all her years as a winner, even in Seattle professionally. Sue Bird was the one who was the leader, directing everybody where to go, the motivational force. So Stewie never had to step up and be a vocal leader in that sense. She just let her game do the talking. But with a team that's never won a championship, with players like Sabrina Benija, nobody on that roster besides Vandersloot has won a championship. Vandersloot and Stephanie Dolson, excuse me, has won a championship. So they were looking to her to be that vocal leader to get them through the tough times, and unfortunately, it didn't seem like it worked. So she said this gave her the experience, and she's going to continue to work on that to improve. Coach Brondello, When they asked her if she rewatched the game, she said she really didn't rewatch it, because there's nothing she can do now, which sort of I don't want to say rub me the wrong way, but I could understand not wanting to rewatch a game in which you lose like that. Um, she did stress continuity. She said the team got closer and closer together as the season went on, but compared to the Aces, who have been through this gauntlet three, four times already, it was nowhere near the same continuity. Because even when they were down players, the core of Asia, Jackie, and Kelsey knew where to be, knew how to get their players involved, commanded enough attention to get others um, open shots. In regards to the last play of the game, she said she just gave the ball to her MVP and let the MVP decide what happens. I don't, I didn't really agree with that, especially with the MVP struggling. I can understand if she was having a solid shooting game, then you can do that. But throughout that whole game, Alicia Clark had her in handcuffs. She couldn't go anywhere. She was 4 for 17 at the time, not shooting well, missing open shots. So sometimes as a coach, you have to help your players so they can get the best possible look. And she said she just gave it to her and let her um try and make a play. And I didn't really agree with that. But it's water under the bridge now. There's nothing we can do about it. Just hopefully she'll eventually watch the game and see how she could have helped her players some more. In regards to Benija and Vandersloot, they did the interview together. Benija said she's not going overseas. This was the first season where she was healthy. Well, in New York, where she was healthy throughout the whole season, especially playing a lot of minutes, starters minutes, which was a good sign. Last year, I know she had like the knee injury, um, and that kept her out of a lot of the games. So I was glad to see her play a healthy the whole season. She improved in every statistical category. She said she's just gonna stay here locally, work on her game. She's gonna be playing in like one of the USA games that's coming up, so she's gonna be able to get a lot more. She can get some playing time with other players while staying local and preparing to be healthy for another season coming up. Vandersloot said the same thing. She's not going overseas. Her and Sloot and Benija are under contract for next season, so we don't have to worry about them. In regards to Marine and Steph, you know Steph and Marine are always together, two peas in a pod. They did the interview together. Marine talked about playing for her French team, and how it may affect her being able to come back next season with the whole prioritization rules that the W has instituted, because the French league sort of leaks into training camp in the beginning of the W season. So W is really trying to enforce that players are here if they want here on time if they want to play. So that may affect her. So we may not see Marine next season. In regards to Steph, Steph is a free agent now. So she says she wants to be back. The injury this year sort of derailed her progress in getting better and being an asset to the team during the middle of the season, throw off her rhythm a little bit. But she said she wants to be back, so we'll see what happens in the future with Steph Dolson. Niara, the rookie, she was injured last year, so she didn't play any games. This was her first year, and of course, she didn't really get too many minutes because of us trying to get our players some continuity, the new players. She said she's going overseas to Prague to play um, for this off season, so she's gonna be getting some valuable play time and experience over there. She's from Germany, so Prague in Europe as well. So she said she'll be closer to family over there as well. So all the best to Niara as she goes over there to get some play time and expand her game. Last but not least, they spoke to Sab. Um, Sab did mention that she hurt her hip during the Connecticut series, which limited her ability to be as effective as she wanted to be. She did grit through it. So anytime you're out there, she did say she didn't want it to be any excuses. But if your hip is hurting you and you can barely walk and you're trying to fight through it, I respect the grit and the tenacity from her. She said she plans to work on her game a lot more. She saw how they played her and how her work from last season on her shooting improved, and she led the league in 3 pointers made this season. So she wants to start to improve other facets, of her game, whether that's the ball handling, whether that's the defense, whatever it is. She said she's gonna work on it and come back better next season. She did notice how well, I did notice how Kelsey Plum, when she came in, she was just a gunner, and now Kelsey Plum, she's able to take people one on one, get to the basket with ease. So if Sabrina can even model sort of some of her game after Kelsey Plum, she's gonna have to get a little bit stronger um, in the frame. But if she can sort of model her game after Kelsey Plum, I think she'll be a great asset to our team. I just remembered I didn't talk about Kayla Thornton. She did the interview with JJ as well. They did it together. She's locked down for another season as well. She signed the extension this off season, so she's gonna be here with us. And she was a great asset to our team. All right, so those are all the exit interviews that were taking place. If you want to watch them in full, I'll link them down below. They're on the Liberties YouTube channel. So if you want to rewatch them or watch them for the first time, you can watch them there. My thoughts about the Liberties off-season plans. I'll go in more in depth in another video, but as a brief overview, I do want to see them improve guard defense. It really exposes all throughout the series, all throughout the playoffs. Honestly, Natasha Cloud going off on us. You got in the next series, you had Tiffany Hayes going off on us, and then in this series, it was Kelsey Plum, Chelsea Gray, and Jackie Young. We had to switch our defenders to them, and that left other areas exposed. So I do want to see us improve in that area. Also, I would hope everybody comes back. Not every single body, but hopefully everybody comes back. The big names, JJ, joins Sabrina, Brianna, Sloot, and Benijah back. Under contract, we have Vandersloot, Sabrina, Benijah, Kayla Thornton, and since Stewie's getting cored, Stewie will be here as well. And I think Jocelyn might also be under contract as well. So we have 6 players coming back out of the 12 that we had this season. 11 that we had this season, excuse me. I'm not sure about Hanshu. Hanshu was not getting a lot of minutes here, so she was back and forth to China. So I don't know what the Liberty will do about that. I don't think she'll be back. It's unfortunate. She was a fan favorite. She just couldn't get enough minutes while she was here. Marine, we already spoke about with the prioritization. She may not be back. We'll see what they do with Steph Dolson. Not too sure. JJ to be decided, so we have to worry about JJ as well. And then oh, I forgot Niara. Niara is under contract as well, so Niara will be back as well. So we have to see what the free agent market looking like. I know the GM Jonathan Kolb, he'll be out there trying to scour the market or try and see what moves he could pull to shore up our defensive efforts. Hopefully the continuity can get better if everybody comes back that's a part of the core, and then we can improve on next season. All right, guys. That was tough to get through. It brought back the bad memories of the finals in which we got smacked up. But congrats to the Aces. The better team overall ended up winning. The more together team ended up winning. Oh, I didn't even touch on the parade. So before I go, let me touch on the parade. Aces had their parade. A lot of controversy about the things they were doing with wearing the t-shirts of the votes that on Asia Wilson wore like a t-shirt of the votes for MVP and the 1/4 place vote. I think who was it? Coach Hammond. She was basically like she talked about Breanna Stewart and the shooting percentage, how Alicia Clark was locking her up. So it was just a lot of jabs at the Liberty players, and as they should, the Liberty players didn't show up, and the winners get to do what they want. So hopefully the Liberty take that in. Hope that festers all off season, and when they come back next season, they'll be a much better team. That's all you can do. There's nothing you can do. You lost. So you just have to come back better next season. All right, guys, that's the end of the video. We covered a lot in this one, from the end of the season game all the way through the exit interviews and press conferences, and even touched on a little bit of recent news that came out since then as well. Stay tuned for some more content coming out. As I said earlier, I'm going to be doing some season recap videos so that we can go over the journey the season was, even though it didn't end the way that we wanted it to. Leave a like, subscribe to the channel, turn those noti bells on. I will have some live content coming up as well. They said the draft lottery is December 10th, so we will be streaming that live as well. So make sure you're tuned in for that. Thanks again, y'all, and I'll catch y'all next time. Salute.